Please give a big warm welcome for Jordi van Heesen.
2 seconds. 2 seconds is all you need in order to make a first impression. 2 seconds is also what you guys needed to make a first impression about me. How did I do? Yes, thank you very much. Years ago, I found a groundbreaking research. A research with a professor and 3 groups of students. The first group saw the professor teaching for over a full semester. The second group saw the professor for over 10 minutes, and the third group saw the professor for only 10 seconds. After this, they were asked to fill out a questionnaire with questions like, what is your opinion of this professor? What do you think of him? Is he trustworthy? Do you think he's intelligent? And also, what was his first impression? The results were nearly the same. So whether you saw the professor for over a full semester or only 10 seconds, doesn't matter. The results were the same. This was such an interesting fact that they researched it more. And they found it's not 10 seconds, but only 2. This result shocked me, but also inspired me. Inspired me to implement it into my own life. First of all, with friends and family, to focus on the first 2 seconds. And later on, in my career and with work, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Every time when I came into an interaction. The result and the impact, it changed my life. And it also made me very, very curious. Curious about everything there is. So I started to ask myself some questions like, what happened? How is this possible? And what is it called? Well, there's a word for it. And the word is hospitality. Okay, new question. What is hospitality? Well, hospitality is the art of feeling someone else welcome. New question. How do I do that? I didn't know. So I started a journey. A journey that took me back a long time. My journey started when I was 19 years old, when I managed and opened my first restaurant. And there I trained over 20 people for the first time in hospitality. And there I found that there was a big problem because they wanted to be hospitable, they wanted training in hospitality, but there was not enough skill, not enough time, and no resources. So after this, I wrote a book about it, about working in restaurants and working in hotels and how to be the most hospitable version of yourself. And after this, I gave more and more training in hospitality, first in restaurants, then in hotels, but later on also in retail, in shops, in public service, and even in healthcare. Why? Because hospitality is everywhere, and hospitality makes the difference everywhere. And now I try to inspire people. I try to do it with talks like this, with my trainings. And during these talks, I have one big question which is central in it. And that is why hospitable organizations win and customer-focused ones lose. So I did a lot of research on this question. And I've got a lot of findings on this question. And today I'm going to share the 3 biggest with you. The first one is that hospitality is a choice. You can choose to be hospitable. But when you have hospitality on the one side, what is then on the other side? Well, that's being customer focused. What is customer focused? The next question. I would like you to imagine that you go to a store and you buy a product. Later you go home and you bought the product and you still have some questions, some doubts about the product you bought. Then you go to the website in hope you find some answers. Then you have a chatbot, it's powered by artificial intelligence. And you ask your questions to the chatbot and doesn't understand you, and for 10 minutes you're typing, and finally you get a phone number. So you call the phone number of the customer service, and 25 minutes later, finally a colleague on the line. You explain your problems, your question, your doubts, and they say, I'm so sorry, but you have to go back to the store for that. No. One day later, you go back to the store, the same store you bought the product from, the same people who helped you first are helping you again, but they do not recognize you. And you come there, and you're explaining your questions and problems and doubts, and you feel that they don't want you there. There's no time for you. Does someone recognize this? Yeah, I do too. I call that customer focused. And these companies, they say, we love our customers. It's big on their buildings. It's big in their mission statements. We love you, customers. But they only love you until you have paid. And after the payment, you no longer exist. Sounds familiar, right? The best way to explain these types of companies is by playing a game. By playing a game of customer checkers, where the C of customers stands for commerce, money, money, money. Where the colleague is the playing piece in the middle, and you only have limited options, so you can go forward, and sometimes you can go to the left or to the right, diagonal. But that's it. Limited responsibilities, limited options. There's no customer loyalty. And people only come back when it's very convenient or very cheap, but not for you, and not for the service, and not for the feeling you gave them. I don't like this game. I want to play a different game. I would like to play hospitality chess, where you are the queen in the middle, where you have all the options there are, and you can go into every direction over the board. Because that's what hospitality is about. Every situation in hospitality needs to have a different approach and a different solution. Where the H from hospitality stands for helping. Helping, giving advice. Be there for the guest, whether they buy or not. And you as a colleague, but also the guest has freedom to do whatever you like. And believe me, people will come back. And not only for the product's good, but for you. Because you helped them, you gave them the feeling they wanted to feel. So from today on now, you have a choice. Whether you play customer checkers, or whether you play hospitality chess. Hospitality is a choice. The second finding is that hospitality is a skill. And the good news is, of a skill, you can learn it. But sometimes people say, no, it's not in his nature. And to them I say, it can be in his nurture. Nature versus nurture, you can learn it. But hospitality is such an abstract word. It's such a big word. What is hospitality and how can you learn it? In order to explain this in the best possible way, I would like to share something with you. And it's something I developed, and it's called the hospitality meter. The hospitality meter is a meter to measure an experience. It's like a temperature meter where you put it into something and then it's like, oh yeah, it's like this, the experience is like this. And on the left we've got, of course, customer focused. And on the right we've got a 9+ experience. So for example, there is a new coffee place in town and you really want to check it out. You go there with your friend and later you come back home and your partner asks you, how was it? And then you say, not really. Would you come back? I don't think so. Or for example, if you go fine dining, the expectations are higher, the price is also higher, and you come back and your partner asks you, how was it? And you say it was good, but there still was something. Would you come back? Maybe. I aim and I train people in order to give a 9+ guest experience. And we all know how that feels like, a 9+ guest experience. A moment that was so great, so good, that I can be totally myself, that I share it with everybody around me. I train people to do that, but how do I do that? First of all, to train them into 3 big steps. Where the first step is to try and develop an hospitable, basic attitude. Think about subjects like communication with guests and handling guest complaints, stuff like that. Very individual focused. The second step, if every individual is hospitable, then we can develop the team. And we can get generations closer to each other, for example. If the team is hospitable, then there is room for hospitable selling. And with selling, I don't mean sales. I don't mean euros. I don't mean money. I mean helping. I mean advice. Selling in a way that does not feel like selling. Not for you, and also not for the guests. 3 big steps to go to the 9+, but still very big, still very abstract. So let's break it down one more time. In total, we have 28 smaller steps. 28 smaller steps. So I will give you a small moment to process. 28 steps to go from customer focused or to the 9+ experience. And the good news already, we have 2 of them. We already talked about the importance of hospitality, and we already talked about the difference between guests and customers. So it's like a checklist. If you have a company or when you're an individual and you already have skills and experience, then your starting point is further down the line. You don't have to start at the left, you can start at the middle. 28 steps. And believe me when I say, each and every one of these steps is a TED Talk on itself. But unfortunately, we do not have time for that today. But I would like to address a few of them for you. And one of my favorites is identifying the moments of truth. The moments of truth in the journey of your guest. And with guests, I don't only mean guests. I also mean customers. But I also mean clients, patients, students, colleagues. Because every day you have interactions with them. And every day they walk a journey with you. And my message to you is try to identify into this journey the key moments, the most important moments. Try to find these moments of truth and optimize them in the most hospitable way. And it can be in the beginning, like I did with the 2 seconds. It can also be in the middle, for example, when you are having a conversation with each other. Or it can also be at the end, for example, when you're shopping at IKEA and you are paying the bill and it's always more expensive than you expected. And then you go to the elevator and you get ice cream for 50 cents only. This is what they did. They plotted out their guest journey and they saw the paying moment at the end is the most painful moment. They identified it and they tried to make it less painful. A moment of truth. My second favorite is the development of a team DNA. A team DNA, what is it? Well, a team DNA is a combination of your why, and why do you work here, and what is the reason you work here. A combination of all those, because you have a specific reason why you work here, and you have too. But what is our collected why? Let's discuss this. Let's put it together. Let's put it also into writing. Let's combine it. Let's put it big onto the wall. And believe me, when you do this as a team, working is going to be a lot more fun. And you have way more room to be hospitable because you like it. The third one I would like to share is my own 9+ experience. And it's a very personal one for me. And it's also directly the third finding of our research. And that is that hospitality is free. And in order to tell you this story, I take you back to Uganda. Last year I went to Uganda and I did volunteer work there. I worked there as a tourism consultant, whereas we try to identify touristic opportunities in order to make for local people their lives better. I also gave training in marketing, training in sales, training in entrepreneurship, and of course, training in hospitality. The third thing that happened was it was also my birthday. And this was the moment I realized that hospitality is free and doesn't cost anything. Because what happened? Normally I celebrate my birthday with family and friends back home, nothing special. But now I was there and I saw life there. I saw the Poorners. I saw how it was there. So I wanted to do something. So we started to have a little fundraiser. And I expected to collect some money, like 100, 150, maybe 200 euros with my friends and family. But that fundraising escalated a little bit. So we collected over 1,800, 1,900 euros. And to put that into perspective, that's 8 times a monthly salary of a well-paid police officer there. 8 times. So now we had that money and we had to decide what to do with it. So we discussed with the foundation what is the best possible way in order to help. And it was to help local schools. We were at the northern part of the region, the poorest part of Africa. And they have schools there, local schools there, but they're not the same schools as we have. They do have buildings, yes. But for example, no windows, no doors, and some of the classrooms doesn't even have a roof above their head. They are with 80 children into the classroom, but there are only 20 chairs. So they take turns. They take turns at the chair. They take turns at a table because they only have 20 tables. So 4 people share 1 chair, 4 people share 1 textbook, 4 people share 1 notebook, and even 4 people share 1 pen. It was crazy to see. Next to that, they had very poor clothes, poor hygiene, poor health, poor nutrition. It broke my heart. So we decided to do something about this. And we wanted to help here. And what we did was we bought all the local markets with stuff. And we put it into our van and we drove towards that school in order to help them. But during our drive, we also called up the school teachers, because if you do not call them, then it's like becoming chaos. And so we called the school teachers that we were coming and please stay into your classroom and it's gonna be fine. And we're dropping the stuff and then we go. And this is something they could have done, but not something they did. They chose differently. They chose to wait for us, all in line, 400 children. They were smiling, they were waving, they were dancing, they were singing. It was amazing. And that 1 pen they have and that 1 sign they have, they made things like this. Welcome, Jordi, to our school. So nice to see you. So hospitality is free. And right there and right then, at that moment, I realized that you can have everything in the world, but you really need nothing in order to give someone else an hospitable feeling. Thank you.